Now that we got all the cabinetry work done in my van, I thought today we would sit down with Andy from Happy Camper Kitz and do a complete walkthrough of my van and all the work that he has done over the last 2 years.
Good morning. I'm Andy from Happy Camper Kitz, and I have a small company now that does van builds here in Dundas, Ontario. Let's check out Chrome's van. This is right here. We just finished it. We started last year, and he came back this year. We did a bunch of stuff to it, put a new bed in, put a pull out. We refinished everything just to clean it up, and yeah, let's check it out. CRUZ, yeah, come here, buddy. What do you think of your new dog dish? Do you like it? Do you like it? Because that was just for you, bud. Yeah. CRUZ is my buddy. I don't know if you know that. You'll like him better than most people. All right. So, as everybody's been asking, that's the new dog dish. Kind of cool. We're going to be making them. I think everybody's been asking, it's like, how much? How much? You know, with the time, the labor, the epoxy, everything going in, I think I'm gonna retail them for about 165 bucks. There's about a 3-week delay on it right now while we get everything organized. But that's kind of cool. They fit with the Yeti 8s. People have requested some dishes for the cats as well. So what I'll do is I'll do a smaller version for with the Yeti bowls if they have them, maybe a 6-inch or a 4-inch cat bowl, so not leaving out the little kitty cats. I'd like to go into his build. We started last year, and we did this section last year. We did some fronts, and we did the back parts, the garage for him as well. With it, we did it with the Baltic birch, which is like 13 ply material. So if they made it in North America, and they had this quality of plywood in North America, I'd buy from North American. Unfortunately, it comes from the Baltic regions. That's why they call it Baltic birch. It's 13 ply, so in other words, it's really durable. So where I'm going with it is, because it's the best quality plywood, that's what I use in our builds. It's structurally sound. It'll take a ton of weight. It's not like North American plywoods where they will break apart and they're weak. And I know there's plywood guys out there going, oh, I don't know. But most guys will tell you Baltic birch is the best plywood you can buy. That's why we use it. Things that we're going to get into is, first of all, what do you think of our new logo? I love it. As you can tell, I have one on my shirt. So not all drawers are going to be like this, but for the most part, I just want to point out, check this out. That's as good as it gets for in-van bar. But the other thing is, check out the Dovetails. We do that because, first of all, it's a glued joint instead of trying to nail it together. If you nail it together, chances are of it breaking is pretty high. Last year when we did it, we chose these little push button latches. Although they're very convenient, they're also made out of plastic. And I've actually changed what latches we're using. And we're now going with these slam latches. They're all metal. So we no longer have to worry about whether a latch breaks or whatever. But basically, just push it shut and it's there. It's not gonna fall out. As we saw last year, Chrome had his pull out a couple times. Hoping that solves it. When we cut the pieces out on the CNC, we use traditional joinery. So not only do we use the dovetails in the drawers, but we'll use like a mortise and tenon type joint. But we never just nail things together, because when you nail things together, they will get loose and they'll end up creaking and just not work. They'll fall apart in about a year. With cabinetry like this, on the top part, you can see we did a joint all the way around, and basically we sunk this piece of wood into this piece of wood, glued it up. It's good forever. It's never going to fall apart. And when you're jostling around on the road, you don't have to worry about things loosening up. With the vans that we're doing right now, we're concentrating on the Sprinter, the Transit, and the ProMaster, because they're stand up tall, they're the most popular ones. And we're also doing a line for the Econoline and Express, because they're relatively similar in shape. And we're also doing one for the little NV200. I was talking to a guy last night, and he was also, there's a micro Transit and there's a micro Ram ProMaster, like a little micro van. I'm gonna see if they will actually fit, and that will cover a huge number of vans. When I'm designing these things, it's not like I'm thinking, oh, let's just put it in that one van. I'm thinking, how can we fit it to other vans? And part of my design is we allow enough room on the back. If we want to, we can scribe the cabinet to the back and it will fit in and be bolted in that way. As we move along in our van build progression, in the beginning, when we built our cabinets, we didn't hollow, you can't really see it here, but in the back there, these pieces are actually solid. So this is a fairly, I call it the Canadian edition, because in the winter, we have winters here, we have snow. And when you're driving along the road, it's always nice to have that extra little weight. It's true. So in the beginning, we built it with not even thinking about weight. And because it was my first one that I ever did, we just built it together. I built it like traditional cabinetry. We put it in, and here we go. It looks beautiful. You know, we've actually got it reorganized now. We took out the drawers and put it in a slam door. I love that. This actually, I think, will work better for Chrome in the long run because it's easier just to open. So this year, in the last year, we've done actually a bunch of vans, a bunch of Sprinters and stuff like that. And weight was a very big consideration. So I've gone to like a honeycomb system, as you've seen in the videos. Basically, when we made the bed, I wanted to make it as light as possible because I knew that the back drawer that was going in has a pretty significant framing to it. This bed, as you can see in the side here, we put the honeycomb in through the entire structure, and that was because we wanted to lighten up the bed as much as possible. The other thing is we've made actually pieces that he can just pull up the mattress and access random storage, like back storage that he doesn't need all the time. Like maybe he doesn't need his shorts in the middle of winter, who knows? But that's where we've created some storage. So I think it actually gave him a fair amount of storage. And I actually, at the end of the day, Chrome and I were talking, is that the difference between his boxes and what he has now is that he doesn't have any space in between. He can pack everything in tight, which I believe he can actually get more stuff in underneath that bed now that it's actually a little bit lower. What we have here is one of our pull-out drawers. This thing is heavy duty, and when I say that, it pulls out. It's 4 feet, but we're actually going to do a 3-foot and a 2-foot addition if we want to. In here, it allows a nice work surface for cooking and whatever outside. We got storage in there. Wow, that looks good. And basically, you know, I don't have any fear of this thing falling, even with all this weight. The slides are rated for 400 pounds, but I wouldn't doubt with the way they're built that you could probably put 550, 600. They rate them at that just because they need to make sure that they're covered as far as a guarantee and all that kind of stuff. But you know, this thing is as durable as it gets. We actually bolted this straight through the floor. There's some big washers on the bottom, so it's not going to pull up. At the end of the day, you can put everything in this. It slides away underneath, and basically a couple of levers like this, give it a push, and it locks it in. Everything underneath the bed is pretty much honeycombed, as you saw in the previous videos. If you haven't, check it out. It's pretty cool. It works with his back storage, but we're actually, for the first version of this bed that we're going to make and produce as a kit, we are going to be making a 4-foot wide bed, so it'll work with the regular vans. This is an extended, So the first version we're going to do is for the regular van, and it won't have this back section. So what we're going to do, instead of having a 4-foot drawer pull out, first version we're going to design it with a 3-foot. So therefore this will go underneath basically a double bed, and allow the last foot as storage that you can access from the front. So one another thing I'd like to cover is the difference between custom and something that I'm going to be reproducing in my kits. That's all a standard product that we're going to develop, and we are developing, and we're going to have different generations of it. But that's going to be a standard thing where I can pull up from my computer the program and we can reproduce exactly what we've already made. But it gets into something where we go above and beyond. Therefore, we're looking at custom work, and custom work is a little different. I spent my life in custom work. I know basically to fabricate pretty much anything. It's time on tools, so that comes at a cost. And basically, when you get into custom work beyond the kit, in other words, like Chrome speaker mounts, basically it was something that came out of my squishy matter. But the reality of it is I needed to make something that wasn't going to move. And when you have requirements like this, stuff like this costs more money. Just because it's not what we're regularly doing. We got to sit down, redraw everything in order to make it fit for you. And although it's very possible, I've spent my life doing stuff like this. I used to do 3D sculpture work and museum work and commercial work, where the guys would ask me, it's like, I just need you to make that. And yeah, we can do that, absolutely. But it won't come at a regular cost as part of your kit, just because we don't have the files. We haven't pre-done everything. So we've got to recreate and make it work for you. One of the things I wanted to talk about was cost, because I know it's like, oh, this is going to be that much money and all that kind of stuff. It is expensive because, you know, we're using best material, best hardware. We're putting the time in, and it's being basically made for you. So that's one of the things you got to take into consideration. Although we are doing product, we can make some tweaks here and there about color and things like that. But that is something that we're going to grow into and evolve into. Chrome asked me to talk about the cost of his van. So you're looking at about $10,000, $11,000 with all the custom work that we've done. When I say $10,000 for a van build out, you're saying to yourself, well, yeah, but is it going to break in the next couple of years? The idea is no. The idea is that you have it for as long as you have the van. And when the van breaks, you take the furniture out, it goes to the next van if it'll fit. Otherwise, you then maybe sand it down, give it a clean up, and sell it. Because this stuff is not going to break. It's like your grandma's furniture, in the sense that I've designed and built it that way. And I believe if the quality's there, it'll stand the test of time. And that's the whole point.